everyone, and welcome to this afternoon's webinar from IAB Europe. My name is Marie-Claire, and I'm going to be your moderator during this session. I work for IAB Europe as Business Programs Manager. So this webinar is the first in a two-part series of sell-side and buy-side webinars, and it follows on from the launch of our Programmatic Library, which aims to bring together good practice and increase understanding of programmatic the industry. So, like our attitude to programmatic advertising research reveals hiring and training people with the right skill set was a barrier to adoption of programmatic, and cited by more than half of advertiser, agency and publisher respondents. One of the key reasons we've kind of developed this library and put together these webinars, so it fulfills part of the IAB Europe's objective to educate the industry on the strategic opportunity of programmatic and bring together buy-side and sell-side case studies from across Europe. So the Programmatic Library I've referenced can be accessed on the IAB Europe website under Best Practices. Okay, so hopefully everyone can hear me okay. Just a couple of points about the webinar today. So it will last approximately 45 minutes. So we'll have 7 minutes of presentations from our presenters and then a minute Q&A session towards the end. The webinar is being recorded and will be available to watch back and share afterwards. So to start, let's just take a couple of moments to ensure that you're familiar with the webinar control panel. You should be able to see a control panel on the right-hand side of your screen. You can minimise this by clicking on the in the upper left corner if you wish to, and you can expand again by doing the same. So webinar control panel, you can see both a chat box and a Q&A box. So I ask that you submit any technical queries or issues to the chat panel, and I will respond to these. If you have any questions for the speakers themselves, then please submit these to the Q&A panel, which is located near the bottom of the control panel. Speakers may answer your questions during the webinar or during the Q&A session at the end. And during the session, you can raise your hand by clicking the red exclamation mark icon just above the chat panel. So to summarise, technical issues in the chat panel and questions for speakers in the Q&A panel. So I'll just do an introduction of our presenters today. So we have Simon Burgess from Programmatic, Torben Neumann from Improved Digital, Dean Queera and Stephanie Cyril from MediaMath, and Nita Kozak from Google. I'll now hand over to Simon from Programmatic to talk about a case study involving a traditional media owner. So I'm going to hand over the webinar control to yourself.
Hey Marie, thanks very much for inviting us to be part of the webinar today. So I just want to give you a quick overview of who I am. I am the Director of Publisher Development for Programmatic in the UK. We're a marketing automation platform for publishers. We help publishers digitize their, monetize their digital inventory across all channels and platforms. I'll talk to you today about a case study that focuses on the work that we've done with Spectator.co.uk over the last year. To give you an understanding of who these guys are, if you're not familiar, The Spectator is one of the leading premium media brands in the UK. It's got an incredible heritage. They've been continuously publishing magazines since 1828, and it has an audience that's incredibly hard to reach, very desirable for premium brands such as Mandarin Oriental, US, B&W, among others. To give you an idea of that audience, they have an average income of £100,000. It's an 83% AB demographic. They truly are the movers and shakers of the business and political world. So they're difficult to reach and very, very valuable audience. And for the Spectator, as they're moving into more of a programmatic world, need to have a partnership that would allow them to reach them, while at the same time keeping control over CPMs and maximising the programmatic revenue that they generated. So when data came to us, they'd had some experience of using exchanges to monetize their unsold inventory. Approach had very much been one of adding access to their site and letting exchange do its thing, which was all good, but unfortunately presented them with some key challenges. Average fill rates, the CPMs, and frequent brand control issues. From a commercial perspective, there hadn't really been any impetus to treat indirect sales as anything more than just filling unsold impressions. Our lucrative direct deals have been fulfilled. However, when we began speaking to them, things were changing with the way that they were speaking to buyers and the way that those buyers were talking to them about transitioning budget from standard IO buys to much more focus on audience-based buys. So for them, as it meant they needed to both protect their direct CPMs, very good CPMs and great relationships with agencies and buyers, but at the time grow their premium programmatic business. They need a true technology partnership with a business that would help them build a full cross-platform programmatic strategy. They need experienced account management coupled with enterprise-grade technology, and they need educated on how to adapt their sales in a world where programmatic buying was playing an increasingly important part. Before anything else, Programmatic did a series of deep dive sessions with the data to understand their brand and existing buying patterns and trends, and build out strategies to increase eCPM and fill. This is because, in our minds at least, every publisher is unique. So they have their own set of objectives, they have their own challenges, and their own USPs that need to be taken into account when recommending a comprehensive programmatic strategy. Not only do our publishers, when working with us, get access to a customer success manager that's experienced in revenue optimization, but we will make full use of our in-market demand teams to ensure that we're able to bring buyer insight to a publisher, help them inform the way in which they package up their inventory. This was important for Spectator because they needed to understand what content trading desks would be looking to target so that they could create a go-to-market strategy, that demand team, particularly at pricing and packaging of inventory. By adding the Spectator team, we were empowering them to really embrace programmatic as just another sales channel for their premium advertising sales. This meant they could fully embrace the private marketplace strategy that we put in place for them, make his audiences available to trusted media buyers through pre-agreed deals, while continually analysing media spend patterns using our real-time analytics platform to find new revenue opportunities and premium media buyers. This has enabled the Spectator to maximise visibility of its industry to buyers and create packages that meet their demand requirements. Through our media buyer console, they control access in terms of deal engagement for each media buyer, while gaining insight into their buyers' audience needs to generate more relevant inventory, more packages, and increase purchasing. The media buyer console acts as a shop window for Spectator.co.uk. The buyers can see within their PubMatic UI what's available on their sites, as well as being able to search packages using parameters such as geography, audience, device, and brand. One point I think as well to explain is that up to this point, the Spectator have been very focused on a programmatic strategy, so that is own marketplace, PMP and PMP guaranteed. But moving forward, PubMatic allow them to be able to transact through automatic guarantee channels should they and their buyers want to, all through the publisher UI and the media buyer UI, facilitating ease of negotiation and ease of transaction. Really, the results speak for themselves. It's all on this screen, but for your understanding, when we put this case study together, we've seen an increase of 49% in the eCPM prices through our strategy, a 300% revenue increase since the launch of working with us, and I think we're seeing 40 to 50% of the Spectator's revenue coming from premium PMP deals with premium brands. Services and Advertising Solutions team has acted as an extension to the Spectator's internal team. We have an incredible relationship with Graham and Nick, and following on from the fantastic results of the initial strategy, the Spectator has moved all of its digital inventory for desktop and mobile exclusively to us. So not only has this given the Spectator far greater transparency and understanding into the programmatic landscape and allowed it to make informed strategic decisions as to what to package up, who to sell it to and at what price, it also meant that buyers have to buy the Spectator's inventory through us. This gives the Spectator a huge amount of control over price and availability of their inventory, ensuring that they can get eCPMs competitive with their direct CPMs and make sure that they're controlling their brand fully rather than having multiple entrants into the Spectator inventory. This whole endeavour really has been incredibly rewarding for us. Not only have we been able to put together the case study with the Spectator, which we thank them massively for, but actually speak on a regular basis to lots of our prospective clients to give them a candid understanding of their experiences of working using programmatic. But it's been a valuable asset for us to be able to show to our potential clients a brand such as the Spectator that has truly embraced programmatic and is really taking their sales strategy moving forward. I think this is just a quote from the commercial director of the Spectator, and as he says, we really help them to transform their premium offering using programmatic sales. Thank you.
So I'm now going to just hand over to Torben to give us a bit of an insight into a holistic programmatic strategy. So Torben, I'm just handing over to you. Yes.
Oh, hello, and thanks, Marie. Hello, everybody. Do you? Yes, I think so. I'm heading up Improved Digital in the German-speaking countries, and I'm happy to share with you the success of Tamedia today. So first, a quick look at the concept, and then Tamedia in more detail. So talking about what Improve offers as Tamedia uses. So Improve offers a technology for and service for publishers, and our goal is to increase revenue for media owners, giving them options and more control via one holistic platform. We come to Europe and are very close to our customers. We are able to respond flexibly to special requirements in individual strategies. We see this gets more and more important for publishers like Tamedia in regards of monetization of advertising audience. And is not a waterfall. So as we say, we build for the needs of publishers. This is right the opposite of a waterfall. This is a holistic optimization. And what that means, via an holistic optimization, we maximize competition while all demand sources compete simultaneously, not sequentially any longer. This concept means maximum competition for each impression between classic direct sales, programmatic deal IDs, open RTB, retargeter, and also third-party networks. And when all prices compete, the highest price per ad impression can be proven, and this leads to maximizing revenues. Formats and any inventory like display, standard IAB formats, also rich media formats on mobile, on web, in-app, and also on video. And this has been the concept Tamedia chooses and has their strategy upon. So let's take a closer look into Tamedia. First of all, who is Tamedia? For some of you may not know Tamedia. Tamedia is a Swiss media group with its headquarters in Zurich, with its daily and weekly newspapers, magazines, and online platforms, as well as printing facilities. Tamedia is one of the leading media corporations in Switzerland. company was founded in 1893 and has been listed on the Swiss Stock Exchange since 2000. Tamedia offers premium inventory, especially in the fields of news and classifieds. PPN, the Premium Publisher Network, is the exclusive online advertising network of Tamedia. With the PN, you can reach over 80% of Swiss internet users via Swiss websites. Tamedia is the leading ad exchange in Switzerland. And where did this all start? The question, what Tamedia was looking for. So Tamedia was selling a wide range from placements per title, targeting of specific audiences. And Tamedia wanted to maximize revenues and add programmatic in addition to the existing sales. Direct sales of high price, premium and guaranteed campaigns should in the first step remain on the ad server, and everything else should be put in competition for highest revenues. So formats should be optimized, like we saw before, IAB standard formats as also rich media such as whiteboard, monster skyscraper, half-page ads, and also video. Sales channels should be competing holistically by having direct sales for PPN for every impression in auction with dealer IDs, open RTB, and third-party networks. Looking for floor price control on a rate card level for everybody, but also for preferred agencies and advertisers to offer custom floor prices and special setups. And finally, last but not least, they wanted to an easier life, working more efficient. They were looking for a reporting API to connect with existing ad tech stack. So we brought Tamedia strategy to life, following a concept real-time advertising is not a product, a way of selling, and a very valuable way. So the products of direct sales also available via real-time advertising from the start on. The price strategy Tamedia chooses for programmatic is very similar to the one which has been used for direct sales. All of the site targeting as a network offering are also available via RTB as they are for in the classic sales. And these are made available for channels and first-party data. And all this has been made very transparently, communicated very transparently to everybody on the extra built new website, programmaticmedia.ch. Use the screenshot on that slide and you can watch it up on the internet. So in short, for programmatic and programmatic, the offering has been the same valuable inventory on the same price levels with the same things. The results have been enormous so far. Media started in the second half of 2014 and first did a lot of testing to gain experience and to agree the right strategy and set up for them. And this is very important because markets are different and clients are different, and it is so important that every publisher finds its own strategy how to approach include programmatic media to increase revenues and benefit of that. So after a couple of months, experience was gained, strategy was built, and in early 2015, the final setup was done. In the first step, open up for RTB and increase competition, but putting the direct PPN sales into auction with it. We then started to actively selling the programmatic offering to agencies and demand partners, which is a very important step. So the technology is as good as people fill it, and it is so important that people on both sides, publishers and also your buy partners, know what is available. It's so important, and Tamedia did well to communicate it transparently and actively. So this way, the competition increased on each impression for higher CPM and higher revenues. Also, Tamedia saw that there is a need to prepare for the future and to scale, which Tamedia saw needs an opportunity to organize a newly needed sales and support structure, and to start a new organization internally, like programmatic champions, let's say, like that, to spread the news, to involve salespeople and ad operation folks. In the second quarter of 2015, Tamedia started to driving revenues by adding deals and also including video and optimization. Since then, Tamedia has been continuously building out the strategy and always evaluating and adapting new opportunities, such as to value transparency in programmatic buying, increase agency demand via dealer deals, to connect the DMP to understand and target much better than before the very valuable audiences on their sites. They extended the use of the 360 platform for additional campaign management and introduced additional rich media products, including Auto Guaranteed, which may start soon, and they were up to maximizing demand in communicating further on to all demand partners. And since the start, the results have been very, very nice. They're growing more than 1,500%, which is interesting. With the right concept, I'm sure this can be done. The next slide, I can just invite you to take a look at this case study, which can be found on the site of Improve Digital. And if you have further questions, ask and reach out to us. Thanks for this. Marie?
Thanks, Robin. That's great. So I'm going to hand over to Nadine and Steph now to give us a bit more insight into a service or in-house model that's being developed. I'm just going to hand over to you guys.
Great. Hi, everyone. My name is Nadine Sequeira. I'm Director of Platform Solutions EMEA at MediaMath. And I'm joined by my colleague, Stephanie Saror, who's a Senior Specialist. So Platform Solutions are the team that are the primary owners of the client relationship. So we're responsible for the client's strategy, satisfaction, and growth of our Terminal 1 technology. A really quick introduction, if you're not familiar with MediaMath. So Joe Zawadzki, our CEO, founded the DSP technology, and we've now grown our platform to be a marketing operating system encompassing a DSP, a DMP, as well as a media management platform. So it enables marketers to reach the audiences they want at scale, or at the scale they need to achieve their business outcomes. So MediaMath is headquartered in New York. We've got 15 global locations with more than 4,500 advertisers, including 65% of the Fortune 100. I'll jump right into a case study that we released. So we're going to talk to you specifically about eBay, one of the largest online auction and shopping sites globally. So we began our partnership with eBay Marketing, based in Zurich, in 2012, and helped them launch their programmatic activity via a managed service model, with the MediaMath team creating, reporting, and optimizing campaigns for eBay. Our experienced account management team were in constant communication with the eBay team, ensuring that benchmarks and KPIs were being met, as well as results and key insights shared. So both teams worked together on developing a training program and then a transition plan, which allowed eBay to confidently take the technology as well as the campaign management in-house. I'll now pass on to my colleague, Stephanie, who will go into a bit more detail on how that was achieved.
Right, so the main challenge for this transition was to go from managed service to self-service was to ensure it would run smoothly and continue to drive performance, which in this case was revenue for a number of European markets, including UK, France, Italy, and Germany. One of the goals during this transition was for eBay to have greater control over deployment of their data by onboarding their first-party data on Terminal 1 platform. Educating the internal eBay staff on the benefits of programmatic as well as all MediaMath products was also a big part of this journey. As eBay main campaigns goal was to drive revenue performance, all campaigns were also shifted from CP model to ROI, which allowed a more accurate performance insight based on the actual revenue generated from the eBay sales. The solution was MediaMath delivered in-depth one-to-one training through the New Marketing Institute, the NMI, which is MediaMath's specialist educational arm that educates, empowers, and engages marketing professionals. MediaMath continues to manage the day-to-day optimization of campaigns alongside the eBay team and provided support to regular meetings until the eBay team was ready to take complete control. This involved daily calls, regular on-site training as well. With eBay in the driver's seat, MediaMath still maintains regular daily contact with the eBay team, reviewing progress, largely in part the complexity of the campaigns, which ran across multiple campaigns. From 2014, the eBay team gradually took the lead, becoming completely self-serving on the platform by mid-year. So as you probably imagine, the results for this eBay transition from managed service to self-service was extremely successful, and as a result, all campaigns are now managed by eBay's in-house MediaMath trained team. Of course, eBay and MediaMath continue to have weekly check-in meetings to answer any queries and ensure that the business is gaining the maximum benefit from MediaMath Terminal 1 platform. In addition to this, the MediaMath team working with eBay is helping the online retailers in-house team with any new campaigns they run for testing. Now I'm going to pass it back to Nadine.
Great. So not only did the eBay team take the programmatic campaign management in-house successfully, but we're also working together with them to develop a similar plan for North America, where they have just opened a new center of excellence. So we're committed to providing global support and training to ensure eBay's success. And they've become true partners by placing technology at the forefront of their business. We'll work together to continuously innovate in the market. We'd just like to end with a quote from Daphne Sacco, Global Display Marketing Director at eBay. And we'll hand back over to you, Marie-Claire.
Thanks, Stephanie. That's great. So I'm now going to hand over to Natalia to take us through a case study of how a digital-first business faced the challenge of moving to mobile. So, Natalia, I'm handing controls over to you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Natalia Kozak, and I'm a product marketing manager for DoubleClick. I'm working with our largest publishers across EMEA, and I think it's a really good time to be in this industry. Today, the online sessions as we know it, they're really over. We no longer go online. We truly live online. We're always on, always connected. So think about yourself, how many times you turn to your phone. For me, it's usually the first thing that I check when I wake up, but it's also the last thing that I look when I go to bed. And every time we, as humans, turn to our devices, we create this moment, rich with intent. And at Google, we refer to them as moments that matter. They matter? Well, they matter to brands because decisions are being made in this moment. Of course, they matter to publishers because this is the time when publishers can deliver both content and ads in a way that improves overall user experience. At any opportunity, there is always a challenging side to that. So the challenge for publishers is that the mobile screens are so much smaller and our attention span is so much shorter. So how do you deliver best experiences for your users? Some might think of translating their desktop practices onto mobile, but unfortunately, as you might have seen for yourself, this really doesn't work. And you might argue that some of those practices don't even work on desktop. You know, it's one thing to see a bad banner ad in the corner of your website on your desktop, but it's so much worse on your mobile. It's annoying. It's disruptive to what you're trying to do. So if I think about myself as a user, the ideal experience that I'd like to see is to customize to whatever it is that I'm doing. But it's really practically possible. Can this be done at scale? And today, I would like to share with you the story of our partner, Trovit, who actually explored the challenge and their transition to mobile. Trovit is a Spanish classified site. They are present in areas of properties, autos, holidays, and they are available in 45 different markets globally in 5 different continents. 100% digital company. They started in 2006, so digital is really in their DNA. However, the shift from desktop to mobile wasn't as straightforward for them as it probably is not for many of the more traditional publishers. But their users were on mobile, and some did to be Trovit. So their goals were to focus on their users and to find a way to effectively monetize their mobile properties. How do they go about this? Well, on what mattered most, their users, and they decided to adopt native ads. When you think about a typical display ad, what gets returned to your app or your mobile site is usually a fully rendered ad. But the problem with that is that it doesn't adapt to the look and feel of your app. So what can you do about that? How can you make it better? The solution separates the ad and it breaks it into different components as opposed to the final rendered ad. So instead of uploading a finished creative into the DFP, a publisher would upload individual components, things like headlines or the logo, the text, the image, and then DFP would take all of these different components and let you customize the ad so that it matches the look and feel of the surrounding environment. And the result is that it actually looks really beautiful, contextually relevant. It looks like it belongs on your site, on any of the screens. Well, you ask then, what were the results? And Trovit was very happy with the results. They were able to achieve 120% growth in their mobile CPMs in the UK and the US. Their overall net revenue across all markets where they adopted native ads was 100% growth, and it also helped them to improve their overall user experience. Trovit is just one of the many examples of publishers in EMEA who are adopting native ads. If you haven't trialed them yet, it's definitely something that is worth exploring because of the impact that they can bring to end users. With that, thank you for your attention, and we have, if you find out more about some of the publisher best practices from Google and DoubleClick from different parts of EMEA, we do have our publisher collection on Think with Google, and here's the link to the site. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. Now we're open up for some questions. So, Simon, I'm just going to flip back to you. So, obviously, you talked about the Spectator being quite a traditional media owner with a large heritage in the UK. So, with that in mind, what would you say is a key first step for those types of businesses developing their programmatic strategy? What would be a kind of good first step for those kinds of businesses to take?
There's a couple of steps that you need to take as a publisher in this instance. I think the first thing that you need to really sit down and have a good think about is like, where's the gap in what you're already doing? So a lot of publishers, they're doing a proportion of they are selling campaigns directly to clients, but they may find that there's parts of there are volumes of impressions that they're not selling. They may find that there are particular things that their direct sales teams just aren't able to fulfill with traditional direct selling. Other publishers may look at their sales processes and say, do you know what, we actually want to have more automation in the way that we run our sales teams, taking away some of the kind of like the lower value sales activity, automating that, and then refocusing those salespeople on very high margin, high return activities such as sponsorship sales and content creation. So I think there's you need to understand really what does your sales team, where do you want your sales team to be, and what you want them to be doing. You also need to really understand what your buyer's appetite is, how they're currently buying, where they're allocating their budgets, what part of their budget are they using for kind of direct deals, what are they pushing more towards audience-based buyers, Are you leaving money on the table by not treating them programmatically? If not, then it's definitely a time to start talking to someone like me about how we can advise you to really kind of take those next steps in building out a programmatic strategy.
Great, thanks. So, Dean and Steph, so you talked about the movement to an in-house model for what is an already digital-first business. And as mentioned earlier, IAB Europe Attitudes to Programmatic research last year found that hiring and training people with right skills was one of the key concerns in moving to programmatic and indeed to an in-house model. So did you find that this was a key challenge, or were there other key challenges that you found, particularly with the digital-first business in mind?
Sure. I think we would definitely agree with the IAB research. So we saw that the main challenge that advertisers faced was just ensuring that they had the right technical expertise in-house to manage their programmatic activity. This is really where MediaMath was able to help EA and as well help other advertisers do the same thing, because we're able to nurture advertisers through the screen and step in and help where needed. In the eBay case study, we spread out this sort of managed service and hand-holding until eBay was ready across a year and a half. And this is something that we're able to do with other advertisers. We also have our NMI, which is New Marketing Institute, which is a group in MediaMath that specialize in training advertisers at different levels, where it is on introduction to programmatic, or if it's someone who's hands-on keyboard using our Terminal One platform. We also at MediaMath have a program called Marketing Engineering Program, where we recruit grads or people new to the industry, and we train them over a course of 3 months on programmatic, with the aim of then helping place them with advertisers or agencies, so ensuring that we help spread education as well. And then our MI also has lectures at universities in the US as well as in the UK, where we have an actual module on programmatic, ensuring that people have this education at the university level as well.
Great, thanks. That's great. So, Torben, so obviously you talked about a holistic programmatic approach and strategy, and how this kind of work alongside other sales methods. So how do you think it can really out of this programmatic and direct sales approach go forwards?
I think, as said in the presentation, Tamedia understood that programmatic is just another way of saying it's not, and at the end it is same high quality or high premium inventory, which is now available also programmatic via OTB, but also via deal IDs. And to enable deal IDs, you have first to speak to demand partners, and that is very similar to what salespeople have been done in the past always. So obviously, first of all, the people need to get a concept and then educate the internal salespeople to understand that programmatic is just another way of selling. And with the technology, within the technology, you have all the transparency, who is buying for what price, who wants to buy for which price, and you have all the controls in the platform to manage who is allowed to buy for which price and whatever. So you have full transparency, and this transparency gives you control, and with the control you can manage, and you can manage programmatically or to sell programmatically in the same way you did in the past in direct sales. So all the tools in place, it is more that all people involved need to just understand it's just another way of selling. If we talk about deal IDs, it is the way we have selling in the past. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. So, Nadia, we saw in your case study that Trovit used name advertising to really elevate their brand, and so just thinking about mobile specifically. So for publishers and media owners that's new to mobile, how can they that aren't new to mobile, how can they really use programmatic to monetize their mobile inventory and their mobile space? Provide some insight on that.
Sure. I think the way, in general, I think it's worth clarifying that, you mentioned media owners and publishers who aren't new to mobile. Things like native advertising, they're actually relevant for publishers who are both well-versed in the world of mobile and the ones who are just embarking on this journey. Because if you think about the intrusive experiences, there's so many of them. So it's definitely great user experiences should be in the heart of every company. So when you think about monetizing in your revenue strategy, it would come down, at least in my view, to two aspects. One is the formats that you use and the experiences for both advertisers and users. And second component of that is that you sell. So once you have the right format to work with, then as a publisher, you can ask yourself, what am I doing differently on mobile? And are you doing all of the same things that that are proven and that you're doing on your desktop? So how are you structuring? Are you still doing your direct deals? Are you also working with the open auction? Are you leveraging programmatic deals? All of those things would really help you to monetize mobile effectively.
Okay, great. Thanks, Natalia. That's really helpful. So I think we've come to all the questions that we've got time for today. So if anyone has got any further questions that they want to addressed in, please drop me an email and we'll follow up with them. So I'd just like to thank today's presenters for sharing their insights and case studies, and to everyone for attending. So there will be a recording of this webinar available for you to watch back and share. I mentioned earlier you can visit the Programmatic Library with all of these case studies in the best practices section of our website. There are also a number of other resources on programmatic available on our website, so you can go on and have a look at those, including attitude to programmatic research that I mentioned earlier. We will then also come to a buy-side focused webinar on this topic in a couple of weeks on the 16th of March. So if you'd like to register for that, please feel free to do so. And then lastly, there will be a survey at the end of this webinar. So if you just provide your feedback in that would be really helpful in helping us develop our webinar program going forward. So thank you very much, everyone, for today, and I will now close the session.
Thank you.